What is the best mage in Multiversus? In my opinion, this has been agreed on for a while now that it was Joker, but with the recent Season 3 update, it shook up the tier list just enough to where the uncontested best mage from before has new competition. So I'll be ranking each mage in the game starting with Velma. Velma has received a couple of buffs throughout the last few patches, and she feels like a more cohesive character compared to whatever the heck we had in beta. Like, what is this? Her stats are rather average in my opinion, and while she's at the bottom of the tier list compared to the other mages, I wouldn't call her a bad character. In fact, far from it. With access to pretty decent projectiles, and alongside her Diddy van that abducts you at 40%, especially if you're a man, you actually cannot mash out of it, she can be threatening if you can build her meter consistently throughout the match. Problem is, people can destroy the one way you can build your meter, by hitting the magnifying glasses that spawn whenever Velma uses certain attacks or when she's just existing. She spawns them in randomly. And in my opinion, her combo game leaves a lot to be desired. When I was playing with the character, it felt like a lot of things would not link into itself, and it felt like I had to get a lot of reads with her. Then again, I know there are some crazy Velma mains out there, all two of you guys. I know you guys go stupid with the character, but in regard to how she feels compared to the rest of the mages, she just does not have enough right now to really say, oh, I can beat Joker consistently. I'm just like, I don't see it right now. So she's at the bottom, and I'm gonna be putting her in garbage tier, dead last. Welcome home, Velma. So far, I just played 2 games with Velma. I hated it. So she's going in C tier. I just don't feel like she is very good, especially in comparison with this strong roster. Besides him, he's not that strong, but compared next to Morty, which is a prime crash out character, everyone in chat should know he's a prime crash out character. Bugs, Tom and Jerry sometimes. Joker is just like the definition of crash out. Here I'm gonna put crash out. These are the characters that when you see them online, like you actually just want to stop playing the game. And the next character to be joining her in that tier is Reindog. The first and currently only original Multiversus character. Reindog is kind of a weird case. It says he's a mage, but he low-key plays like a pseudo bruiser mage archetype. His main game plan centers around using his fireballs and neutral attack to zone people out, but he has some pretty good combo starters like up tilt and a side air, so don't let that fool you. He's honestly not even that bad, but he suffers from a disease that other characters later in this tier list suffer from, being too honest. What I mean by that is he is too fairly balanced of a character in this unbalanced hellhole we call Multiversus, where Bugs Bunny can kill you at 20% off of one bad dodge and Joker comboing you constantly to 50%. And don't get me started on Batman, I will crash out. Don't even mention Batman in the comments. Reindog is just a sad little dog who's relegated to mid tier and at the bottom of garbage tier. He's not a bad character, he's really not, but similar to Velma, when compared with the other mages in this game, he just leaves a lot to be desired. How do we feel about Reindog? How do you feel about Reindog? Garbage? I'm hearing garbage for right now. I'll keep him there, probably above Velma, because I don't think he's worse than Velma personally. Unfortunately, bringing me to my next character. Fortunately though, he is not in the garbage tier. He's not in the garbage tier. And if you guys watch me, you already know who I'm about to say. It is Marvin the Martian. Now it's actually kind of funny because I actually ranked Marvin back in the Assassins ranking video, which you should watch after this video. He got reallocated to the Mage classification and he's still not that good here. Marvin received a huge buff this patch, mainly being his neutral special being a combo starter. Before this, Marvin was a very setup and punish heavy mage that relied on outplaying the opponent constantly to get even a morsel, a speck, a minutia of damage. So he had to constantly do this throughout the match if he wanted to win, all while avoiding big hits from threats like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Steven, Harley, Shaggy, Agent Smith, Morty. The fact that his button is now a combo starter and more importantly is a good move to use in neutral since it's faster than his jab really helps patch up the areas he lacked in. Previously, when he would get pressured, Marvin really couldn't do anything but just sit there, take it, spread both of his cheeks, and just have... Now, though, he has a fighting chance against the Batmans. He can finally do something. And on top of that, you can use the button on the ground to hit people above you and start up a combo. In my opinion, this is the best Marvin has ever been. in the history of the full release version of Multiversus, but even with this, he still has issues. His dash attack still does not connect into itself, even though they literally made a whole patch note about it, and they lied to me. This does not work as a move. And more importantly, he struggles to kill. All of his cooldowns are at least 10 seconds long, and his rocket is 30 seconds. Not even Gizmo's car, which is arguably a better move than Marvin's rocket, is 30 seconds long. And he has to wait half a minute just to get the option to kill back. Not to mention that the opponent can dodge and pressure you throughout this whole time. And when you combine all those things with his down tilt, no longer killing as early and not being a true combo off of jab, makes Marvin better. He's definitely better than he once was, but the nerfs he received in those areas, even though they were slight, was enough to make him go into the mid tier of the tier list. He's just decent. So where do we rank Marvin in all of this? Is he garbage as a character? Low decent? Marvin is a good character, but the top tiers are just bad matches for him. I feel like he was medium garbage before. Again, bottom 3, I wasn't dragging it. Now I would say he is decent. Speaking of nerfed characters, Gizmo was someone who fell bad from grace. He used to be dominating the matchups and the meta of the game, and then bro just fell off. He fell off so hard, and rightfully so. I personally really don't care for how Gizmo looks. For the people who liked the Gremlins movie, for all 6 of you guys watching the video, I'm sorry, but I just really hate how he looks, and I'm glad he got nerfed. Personal bias aside, for those of you who haven't played or never watched this movie, he is a gremlin, and these Mogwai creatures, are surprisingly very strong. Like, if you could imagine Cybermen from Dragon Ball Z, and they're already at city level in terms of destruction, yeah. But his main draw is that bow and arrow. Man, if you guys have played against this, you will understand my frustration. It's so powerful because he can hold a charge on it and dodge to store that charge before shooting it again, and it actually becomes stronger if he stores a charge. The ability alone to store a charge and decide when you want to shoot it makes him extremely oppressive at pretty much any range, because you really can't tell when he's going to shoot it. And combining that with his Hellcat that he can drive into you at will, oh my gosh, bro's just a menace. At his peak, he was responsible for many crash outs, me included. So he got toned down a bit, mainly his car not having as much health, not killing as early as it used to, as well as nerfing some other aspects about him that really toned the character down to make him a bit more manageable. So for right now, we're gonna put him in decent. Maybe at like the top of decent. Moving into the next tier of characters, we have Fire. These characters, in my opinion, are in the discussion for being a meta pick. Starting up, we have Tom and Jerry. One of my personal favorite characters in the game, character-wise. Tom and Jerry are one of the best duos out there. Their moveset consists of them fighting each other. How peak is that? Compared to the other mages, they try to keep you at a distance the most and rely more on setups to put you where they want you to go so they can punish you. Is what I would say if this one move did not exist. Up tilt, up tilt, up tilt, up tilt. If you can imagine having sleep paralysis, that's how it feels when you get hit by this move. It leads into Tom and Jerry's very bread and butter juggle combo that puts you into a cutscene where you have to watch a cinematic before you get to click X so that you can actually start the game again, where he shoots Jerry down to hit you back to the floor after he does his up tilt, which activates the ignite perk if you have it on, so you're getting more damage while you're getting comboed. And then he does up tilt again to get even more damage. It leads to like 40 to 50% if you do 2 loops of it. It's just that good. It was so bad, I honestly feel like Tom and Jerry was the sole reason why that the ground bounce system got changed in the first place to where we have auto tech in place. Because it was so bad. He could literally do this to you until 100% and you would just die. And it was all true. He got heavily nerfed with that change. But even with that, Tom is still a menace with just these 2 moves alone. No matter how much Multiversus tries to nerf him, he will always be good. Void put him on the map and he always found his way. And let's not forget about Jerry either. He is not a slouch, because when you shoot him, he will shoot corks at the enemy, to which Tom can hit back with his racket to cause a bunch of projectiles to just bombard the enemy, straight up just carpet bombing them. I hope they like bullet hells, because welcome to Enter the Gungeon. Because of up tilt alone and his plethora of kill options, looking at you, you freaking frying pan, my gosh, I hate frying pan. He goes in the fire tier easily. Right after him, we have Rick and Morty. Not Morty though, just Rick. Rick feels like the character you'd play to tell your friends you only play big brain mid tiers, when in reality, he does like 2 to 3 things over and over again. Rick doesn't get as much play as his grandson Morty, but in my opinion, he's pretty much on par with him. He has access to very insane portal combos that my brain currently does not have the capacity to hit right now. But here's a clip of me getting clipped on Twitter again for the second time. Guys, I'm sorry, because people are calling me trash, and like between you and me, guys, like I'm not garbage. You guys are just seeing one part of it. Like I won the set. Rick has a lot of options to play with. From turning himself giant, his enemies into the second worst mage in the game, to spawning portals to travel between places at will, Rick requires a pretty good understanding of his base kit before you can actually pop off with him and do all those insane combos. At the highest levels of play, the reason why I put him above Tom and Jerry is because I could see him easily rising in the tier list. I still feel like this character is widely unexplored, and it might just take me so that I can explore him. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I might have to explore Rick. Let me know if you guys would want to see that in the comments, by the way. So I definitely expect him to be rising in the tier list, but for now, I put him in the fire tier. I low-key feel like he's probably somewhere in the fire tier. His combo was kind of tough too. Like I can't even hate. It was kind of tough. So I'll put him above Tom and Jerry. Speaking of his grandson though, Morty, ooh, man. If you play this game, I don't gotta say much about this guy, but if you don't play the game, one, congratulations, and two, he's just insane. People like Verilified already know what's up when he's not crying about him, that is. He can throw a lot of moves out that can really make you wonder what the hell just happened before he uses his mud wall into up air and you lose your life tragically at 80%. The simple fact, literally the simple fact that his mud wall does not have a cooldown makes this character near S tier. I don't really care what other people have to say, because you can't really make the argument that other characters in this game can confirm into a kill move the way Morty can at the safe distance Morty can do it at. Morty can literally throw out mud wall at pretty much any range and be pressuring you, and if it lands, you get hit with up air and you start to get comboed and it's a kill confirm. Like, it's so crazy. It's so good. Even though I don't know how to play him, I recognize that he, with those two things alone, are insane, much like Tom and Jerry, except he has more than just that. His grenade, which he can cook, that makes it even stronger, which you can die at 20% from. Fun and interesting gameplay. Alongside his snake projectile, which has spiked me so many times at 40% where I just died. I know that Morty has a lot of potential. I see it, and people still aren't really exploring that with him, in my opinion. So for now, I put him in fire tier. He is insanely good, and I would say he's only going to keep rising as the game develops. He does seem a little more involved than I thought. I genuinely thought it was just grenade, mud wall, and you win. It's a little more. It's a little more. I concede. I'm sorry to the 12 people who play Morty. I'm sorry. Let's put him in fire. Let's just put him in fire for right now, and we will address him later. And next up, we actually have Joker. Joker in the fire tier. Joker's just so good. Like, I actually like playing as him because he's so simple. It's such an easy character to play if you just want to start to win. The undisputed king of Multiversus for a long while, ever since he came out, Joker was a dominant force in the meta. And he made me rethink why I got on to play every single time I played against him. Every single time I got on, when I saw Joker, I began to question why I was on the game in the first place. He's another one of those characters similar to Reindog with that bruiser mage archetype, but you can begin to see why he's so much better compared to his brethren of the same archetype. For instance, he is extremely heavy. I think it's because of the rocket launcher he carries in his pocket. He can combo so consistently. Jab into his IAD down air, into down special, and then up air, into just so much other things. He does so much damage, and there's a lot of creativity with his combos that you can do that can all lead into his up air. Somehow they all lead into up air, and that kills you so early. It was so bad that he got nerfed a couple times actually, because people began to actually see, oh wait, this character is actually insane, and play first games along with the cat were both trolling at headquarters, not doing anything, and still buffing Batman. Guys, I don't get it. Please, someone explain it to me. I don't get it. His signature perk, Joke is Wild, pretty much says F you randomly and throws out a big explosive card that kills you at 80 to 90%. That is very hard to react to because it goes decently fast. So there's a lot of things that you have to respect about Joker, because if you don't respect him, he can throw off one move, and if it lands, you'll probably just blow up or take 50%. This whole character archetype makes a lot of sense in terms of how he plays, because he's a clown, So me playing this game expecting to have fun when I play against him, I must be the biggest clown and I must be the butt of the joke for trying to have fun on the game whenever I had to face him, especially when he was in his prime. His jab is no longer as quick as it used to be. He has a lot more lag on it, and he got a lot of other minute changes that did add up to make him weaker compared to his prime, and it actually knocked him off the throne for best mage in Multiversus. The #1 mage in Multiversus is Bugs Bunny. Bootman, which rank are you in right now? Don't roll in. Oh, I thought he died actually. And now he's dead. I actually just landed him 3 times. The true king of the mages, my goat, Bugs Bunny. No glaze, no glaze. Has been so good since Mirror Man put bro on the map back in the beta. Speaking of, I did take a game off of him. I'm just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 main reasons why Bugs Bunny is great. #1, he, as a mage, has a great combo game. You don't really find that too often with the mages because a lot of their moves are designed to hit you away, but no, Bugs Bunny wants you to come to him. Jab, into up tilt, into landing nair, into up tilt, into nair again, and then if you do rocket and they dodge in, say goodbye to your stock because he just does up air and you die. Like, that's it. You died at 0. And it was all true after the dodge in. He honestly has such a good combo game. Sometimes I would say it's even better than some bruisers and assassins. And reason #2, his up air. How am I supposed to contend with this? He's making a moon with this swing angle. Now, with those 2 things on its own, it's not super insane, but combining them together is what makes Bugs Bunny really dominating. And that's not even talking about his other special moves. His safe, being his neutral special, is very good for approaching your opponents at different angles. Like, for example, you could send your safe straight out like a pseudo rocket, and then you have another rocket behind that, and then you can just cover the air with your up air. And that's not even talking about his freaking down special. It makes his approaches very hard to react to because of the fact he can pop in and out of them, and then combining that with everything else I just mentioned, yeah. He's an easy S tier. He's easily going at the top of Crash Out tier, now rightfully named Bugs tier. What should be the next character class that I rank? And also, please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers specifically by this Friday so that the developers of Combo Devils can hit me with that sweet, sweet ambassador position for the channel. Guys, please, I already put it on my one sheet that I have 1,000 subscribers. Don't make me look bad and look like I'm lying. Please, guys, help me out.